self-custody holders still make up a huge percentage of people holding Bitcoin. Hello, Miss Bitcoin here. I have some exciting news for you today. Bitcoin News recently shared a very interesting infographic indicating that a full 49%, almost half, of all Bitcoin is currently held in self-custody. This is amazing because it sometimes feels like all we hear about are Bitcoin ETFs, treasury companies, Coinbase, and other exchanges and custodial Bitcoin. But the bigger story is that most Bitcoin is still held by individuals. It's inspiring to imagine all these sovereign individuals operating in the world, stay humble, stacking sats, and moving their wealth into cold storage. That is something worth celebrating. Unfortunately, the raw data doesn't tell the whole story. First, we have seen a growing interest in things like collaborative custody, which I assume counts as self-custody by this definition. But the reality is that when you rely on a service provider in this way, there are major drawbacks. First, you typically have to KYC yourself, sharing all of your most personal data to be sure you can utilize their services fully and that they follow the law. For us, this is a big no-no. If you have paid any attention to the news the last 20 years, you know just how common data breaches are. Companies lose customer information all the time, and once it's out in the wild, well, you are vulnerable. If someone needs to scan your ID or ask for other sensitive data to help secure your Bitcoin, they aren't worth your time. Second, these sorts of solutions often require proprietary apps to move your Bitcoin. If they're down for maintenance or stop working for any reason, your uncensorable Bitcoin quickly becomes impossible to move. This is hardly the promise you were made when you decided to become a Bitcoiner. Oh, and if an app going down prevents you from using your Bitcoin, you can imagine how vulnerable these companies are to government interface. It will be easy for them to be shut down. And third, besides giving up sensitive data, if you trust a key to your Bitcoin to a third party, they will have to provide customer support. You know what that means? It means that in order to serve you, someone on the back knows how much Bitcoin you have and when you move it. Is that really the type of privacy you want in your financial life? This is definitely disqualifies you as a truly sovereign. And finally, the marketing of these kinds of products is always something like even if we get shut down or go out of business, you can still recover your Bitcoin because you have 2 of 3 keys necessary to access it. But did you know that in a multi-sig setup like this, there are actually other files and information required to recover your Bitcoin? I bet most people listening had no idea. While it is technically possible to recover your Bitcoin if you have all of the right information, it also isn't very easy. Some of these custodial partners outline very complicated steps in order to regain access to your wealth. So here's my question. Why not just keep all this hassle, learn a few new skills, and take proper self-custody, where you can run a node to verify your transaction and remain private, where you alone hold the keys to your wealth and nobody else knows how much you have or when it moves, where you can build in your own redundancy to ensure you never lose your Bitcoin stack but always have the ability to use it. Bitcoin is not just an amazing monetary protocol. There are builders in the space that have created incredible open source tools designed to help you lock down your wealth and sleep in peace at night, free of any counterparty risk. So while it is great to see that half of Bitcoin is held in some form of self-custody, and that is so much better than keeping it on an exchange or with a custodian, most Bitcoiners could really stand to improve their self-custody game. They could run a node, they could use only open source tools, they could learn to utilize an air-gapped hardware wallet, they could build backups and inheritance plans, they could step further into a life of self-sovereignty. If you have the technical skills to do this, then get started today. If you don't, well, that's what the Bitcoin Wait is here for. We don't KYC you, don't need to know how much Bitcoin you have, and will never hold your private keys for you. We spend all day, every day training people to take self custody the right way, free of counterparties and with confidence. Don't delay. We want to see this 49% number turn to 60%, then 70%, and up until as many people as possible live up to the promise that Bitcoin offers to be your own bank. I hope you will take the next step, the most important step, and begin the journey of self custody. You will never regret it.